Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday. In case you forgot what day it is Wednesday, and I'm so excited to be bringing you some yoga as healing today. We'll give people a minute to hop on here, but I just wanted to get on a minute early so everybody has a moment to gather their things. If you're like, I didn't know if I should do some yoga, this is your sign. Flashing lights. Hi, Serena, can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something that you can hear my sound. Anyway, so go grab that mat. And if you have a strap today, that's going to be really useful. We can always sort of work around it, maybe using a towel, hand towel from the kitchen, or a scarf, or a regular old belt. All work great, but just we will need that. Okay, thank you. All right, and I know you maybe have some guests on this week, so that's exciting. Serena, thanks for plugging the word and helping out. So excited to, one of my favorite practices, and I feel like for a lot of people, these are the practices, these yoga as healing, that I feel like people kind of keep resonating with the most. Probably plenty of power yoga and vinyasa. I love those too, so I can't help but do those as well. But these are the ones we really need, are these yoga as healing. So since Serena gave me the go that you can all hear me, and I'm going to say that before I start and turn the camera around and I can't see you anyway, I got real lucky on Saturday it was, because my husband just literally happened to be practicing. He like rarely ever practices, and then my camera, my connection went bad. Wouldn't have never known. I would have just kept going the whole hour. But I don't have him today because he is working and my phone's turned around, and not like my kids are even on Facebook. They don't have that. So let's just say a prayer. Everything's going to be just fine. And if it's not fine, then it's a sign that that's where we were supposed to end today. Okay? We just trust in the universe that that was what was supposed to be. So here we go. I'm going to turn you around. Okay. Maybe if you have a minute and you are on live, or even if you're catching the recording, it's fun to hear where people are practicing from. So feel free to just say Lincoln or Colorado or whatever. We actually get to start today laying down. I'm going to stay sitting up, but to start, I'm going to have you all lay down. You'll want that handy dandy strap near you so that it's in a hand's distance reach away, okay? Other props, block is always helpful from time to time, and so is a blanket, especially for the end. I would love to end with a short meditation today. And so if you have a meditation cushion, or again, a towel, blanket, something to prop you up to sit on, that would be great. And if you want to do the meditation laying down, that is totally an option as well, okay? All right, so laying down on your back, find any comfortable position. So if that means you like your knees bent, if you're having some low back sensitivity, you might actually take your blanket, roll it up, and set it underneath your knees. If you'd like to start in a heart opener, take a blanket, roll it up, set it underneath your upper back, across right under the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. That's lovely too. You could even start in a supported bridge. If you've got that block, grab it, you could set it under the sacrum. So any truly, or Shavasana, any comfortable position, okay? The operative word is make yourself comfortable. And then let your eyes close. Begin to feel the outer world start to just not completely dissolve, but begin to fade a little bit. As you take your gaze, your physical gaze, and you close off sight with the eyes closed. So I have an amazing friend, truly one of my best friends in the whole world. And about a month ago, I was at Trader Joe's, and I get a text that says, brace yourselves. There's 4 of us from college that are really good friends, and just said that she had had a seizure, and they'd found a tumor in her brain. And She's already had one surgery and she's just going through a lot, as you can well imagine. And yesterday someone had said something to her along the lines of, so much of what causes our suffering is the fact that there is our expectation of our life, and then there's the reality of it. And that's what causes the suffering, is when what's really happening and our expectation don't align. That's where the suffering lies. And what someone had said to her is, what if you could just trust that whatever decision you make is already the right one? And just having this unabiding faith and trust. And she said that brought her so much peace. And I've had multiple friends who have had illnesses and diseases and have said to me, Alicia, don't wait for a diagnosis to start living your life, to start having fun, to start doing these practices. You don't have to wait to find out you're dying to really start living your life. And it's hard because we're human, and so we forget a lot. And then something happens and we remember again. And so why I do these practices, and I'm going to guess that a lot of you are attracted to these practices for the fact that you don't want to wait. You want to start living fully into this life right now, this gift, this miracle that we are here on this planet. And so to start trusting more and trying less. What if we could do that? What if you truly believed with as much confidence as the sun will rise every single day that you are capable of your dreams, that you are capable of healing, that you are capable of whatever it is that is a desire within you, that you do actually have what you need, like you really believed that. We'd start to change the world, right? So today as we practice, we're gonna, my intention for all of us is that we do movements and allow the body just to kind of embody this sense of trusting a little bit more, to be able to trust our instincts. Sally Kempton, a famous meditation teacher, she said trust is one of the key meditative secrets, and when we incorporate them into our practice, they begin to change the whole way we experience our life. It's like this foundation principle. So I want you to take your hands together in front of you and begin to create a little heat. Start to rub the hands together. And then I want you to place both hands over the heart. So one hand over the heart, the other hand over the top of that. And as sure as the sun will rise, we begin to develop a greater sense of trust within our own self. To trust ourselves, to trust our instinct and our intuition. And so if there is an intention that you would like to set, I want you to just trust that whatever sort of leaks out of your thoughts in the moment, that that's what it is. And if there's nothing there, that that's okay too. And then go ahead and send your arms up and over your head. However your legs are, stretch the legs to the floor. Point and flex your feet a few times. Hannah, I just went over and peeked that everything was working and I see you're on. That's awesome. Arms are reaching. So we're gonna work a little bit, not only with the heart space today, but also with the psoas, okay? Bend the knees, set the feet to the floor. And I want you to hug your right knee in towards your chest. Left foot starts on the ground. And bring your right hand so it's just below the knee, right on the shin, and just start to make some circles. And as you close the eyes, start to go really slow, almost as though you can feel the inner architecture of the way that the bone is rooting into the socket. Switch your direction. The way the muscles are all collaborating and connected to even initiate this movement. The sensitivity of how your sacrum feels this movement of your leg. Your shoulder does. Good. Now stretch your left leg, if it's okay, out onto the ground. Hug your knee in a little bit deeper towards your right shoulder. And if you're more open here, you may bring it more off to the right. Now reach your arm on the inside of the leg. It's like you're going to take happy baby, but instead of letting the foot go up towards the sky, I just want you to keep your foot facing towards the back of your mat. It's kind of like you're doing a half frog maneuver. Your ankle bone is in line with your knee. You're going to pull your hand against your foot here a little bit and push your foot out against your hand. Ooh, yeah. My favorite things about the practice are the things you cannot see and have the greatest effect, right? So somebody watching us may not be able to see us physically pulling our hand against our foot and then our foot pushing back, but we can feel it. And it's like that internal instinct we're tapping into here a little bit deeper. My left hand, I like to just put it on my left thigh. Good. And then you're going to slowly bend left knee back, put it on the floor, and let go of your right foot. Hook the ankle just above the knee, pick your left foot up off the floor, thread your hands behind the back of the hamstring, and we're going to do a little cat and cow and thread the eye of the needle. So I want you to inhale, let your left foot, your arms will stop them because your arms will go straight and you can't go any further, but let your left foot feel like it's heavy and trying to drop towards the floor. And then exhale, bend your elbows, let your spine actually round, let your sacrum and your glutes come off the ground and draw your thigh to your chest. Oh, feels so good. Okay, a couple times here. Inhale. So you're inviting now in, if you haven't already, your Ujjayi breath. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Good. Now find somewhere in between your deepest stretch. So back off just a little bit. You're going to take your left hand, hold your left ankle with that hand, and reach your right arm out to the right. Good. Now you're going to slowly let your legs come over to the left. Your outer edge of your left foot will hit down on the floor, and the sole of your right foot will be all the way down. It's a variation they call sleeping pigeon. So initially, you may find that in your body, you don't feel this pose. Others of us, it's like, woo! So a couple things if you're not feeling any awakening, shall we say, in the outer right hip, is to take your left thigh, that's your bottom one, and scooch it forward towards your left shoulder a little more. You can take your right hand, instead of opening the arm up, you could put it on the inner thigh just above the knee and move that leg away a little. That might help. Or even taking your right thumb in your right hip crease, grounding that, finding a little more length out of the right waistline, and wrap your 4 fingers around. That may bring a little more. Allow your right shoulder to feel heavy, the shoulder blade feeling like it's cemented down towards the earth. And those of us that are feeling a lot, let yourself just be. It's a great chance to practice I would classify this as kind of uncomfortable in my body. It's quite intense, and so I just following, staying with it without trying to resist it, without trying to bring a storyline to it of why it's tight, but actually just sitting with the sensation and feeling a steadiness and a presence as I just keep my awareness centering more around the breath and the sensation almost feeling a little bit more like the background. Good. And then use your left hand holding that ankle to help you bring that back up. All right, set that foot to the floor, feet wide, knees knock in, and just breathe, just for a moment. All right, second side. Right foot's going to stay on the floor. Bring your feet back hip distance. Interlace your fingers across the front of the left shin. We're going to start with those circles. The slower you go, sometimes the more annoying it is, right? Just slow down. It's hard to go slow for some of us. Go the other way. You get to move a little bit. You just get really curious. Some of the best qualities that can bring more joy into our life are wonderment and curiosity, kind of very similar. All right, now bring it back to center. Extend your right leg long. Left hand's gonna stay on the shin. Right hand, I like to put mine on the thigh. Draw your left knee towards your left shoulder. Engage your right leg. Point your toes towards the sky. Take your outer left hip towards the floor a little bit more. And then we're taking that kind of supine variation of a half frog. All right, so again, instead of the foot flexing up towards the ceiling, I want you to keep the foot so that it's pointing toward the wall that's at the back edge of your mat. Arm is on the inside of the leg, hands on the outside of the foot. And remember subtleties here. Pull your hand against your foot, push your foot against your hand. Can you feel those two? Like do it a couple times. Like try to relax and do nothing. And then pull your hand against your foot, simultaneously push your foot against your hands. And just look how cool your body will start to light up like a light bright in different areas. Nice. And then right foot's gonna come back to the floor. Left hand, help that left foot over just above the knee. Flex your top foot, pick your right leg up. Again, thread the hands. I always like to switch up my grips every time, so I have two favorite hands and two favorite legs and arms. I can't even tell which one's my fave anymore. Okay, cat and cow here. Let the leg fall away from you. Can you get to the point where your back actually does arch? And then exhale, round. Draw your thigh in. Let your sit bones, let your low part of your back lift up. A couple times here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, yogis. Inhale. Exhale. Release your clasp. Take your right hand, hold your left ankle. Slowly start to tip your body over to the side so the sole of your left foot comes to the floor. Left arm has the option to open out, or you can put the hand on the leg, on the top leg, the left leg. If you need more, scoot your right thigh closer towards your right shoulder. And I just want you to keep saying as you're breathing, thank you. Thank you for this body. You don't even have to know what you're saying thank you for to just bring in gratitude, cultivating this quality of trusting. Thank you for the sensation. Thank you for the responsiveness between my brain and my body. Thank you for my capacity to breathe, to deepen my breath, to become aware of my breath. Can you try and feel like you're kind of pushing your outer left ankle against the top of your right thigh? Woo! And at the same time, hug your right thigh a little bit. And you can't over effort these or the muscles will kind of seize up, but just little teeny tiny actions. Right thigh kind of just gently drawing in towards your outer left ankle. Bring it back up to center. Inhale. Exhale. Set that foot to the floor. Knees knock in, feet go wide. Very good. Reach your arms up over your head. Stretch your legs long. Flex your feet. And then go ahead and keep the feet flexing. Take your hands right to the frontal hip points, the front of the sacrum, front of the pelvis. And you're going to let like somebody's pulling your right ankle, slide your right heel forward. And notice how the right frontal hip point dips down. Left one will either feel neutral, almost like it lifts a little. And then slide the right foot back to neutral. So really subtle. Now left foot, slide it forward. Back to neutral. Slide right foot. Isn't this cool? You can really feel the anatomy of the body. Slide left heel. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go one more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale, neutral. Good, feet back to the floor. Now grab your strap. One more time, right ankle is gonna hook over left knee. And this time you're gonna take your strap and you're gonna loop it around your left foot. Okay, remember you can use a belt, you could use scarf, towel, okay? Take the strap one into each hand if you can, if it's long enough. And then slowly you're going to start to bring the toes a little closer towards the crown of your head. Do your best to keep your sacrum down here as much as possible. Now I want you to micro bend your left knee. That's your straight leg. Micro bend that leg. See if you can get a little bit more give as you just give a little grace to the leg. Take one more breath. Very good. Now you're going to put your right leg up into the strap as well. Both feet up into the strap. All right, separate your feet so they're about sitting bone-ish distance. Hold on to the strap, one on each side of the hand. And I want you to feel like you're kind of going pigeon-toed. So spin your heels out. Woo. You feel that? Kick out against that strap or against that towel, and then bring the heels back to center. Now do the opposite. Heels are gonna come toward each other. If you can, try not to let them touch, but push into the outer edges of the feet, right on the pinky blade of the foot, like you're going Mary Poppins style, okay? Or duck position. All right, back to neutral. Inhale, go pigeon toe, and neutral. Duck out to the sides. Notice where the different areas of the legs light up. One more time, heels out, toes in. Back to neutral. Other way, kick it out. And neutral. So good. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. Keep the strap in your right foot. Left ankle hooks over right knee. Straps in each side of the hand. Still, hasn't changed. Little micro bend in that right leg. Bend the elbows. Draw your toes towards the crown of your head. Take a couple deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Once more, inhale. Exhale. Good. Slowly slide that strap off. Bend your right foot to the floor, bend your left foot to the floor, and one more time, stretch your arms up and over your head. Point your feet. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, squeeze up, forehead towards your shins, towards your knees, curl up into a little ball. Tap your feet down to the floor, reach your arms over your head. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, curl up. Now if this bothers your neck, you can do the curling without letting the head come up, okay? Tap the toes down, inhale, arch your back. Exhale, curl up. Inhale. Cultivating a little bit of core so we remember on our journey constantly trusting ourselves and our own strength. Exhale, curl. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Last time. Breathe in. Arch the back. Exhale, curl up. So good. Inhale. Good. Now we're going to roll onto our right side. Okay, you're going to roll on your right side. You're going to use, if you've got a block, you could certainly use that. I'm just going to bend my elbow. You're going to bend your knees. And I want you, remember when we had the hands on the frontal hip point? So you're going to do your best. And I'm just going to put my top hand, my left hand on that left frontal hip point. And we're going to try to keep it as neutral as it can without it moving a whole lot. Okay. I want you to lift your top leg so that it's almost as though there's a block between your 2 legs. Just noticing how the frontal hip point may or may not have moved, and you're just doing your best to keep it as steady as you can. Now I want you to move your leg out on the diagonal so I can see my toes. They're kind of on a 45-degree angle out from the hip, almost like a walking movement. And then you're going to exhale, pull your knee towards you, try to keep it parallel towards the ground, and pull your knee towards your head just a little bit. And then you're going to kick it out on the diagonal. And exhale, hug it in. Now your bottom leg is actually working quite a lot here. Inhale, push into the outer foot, in the outer quad, pull it in. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Keep pushing into your bottom outer leg. Exhale. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So very kind of simple movement here, and yet as we keep going, things start to get a little bit fiery. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And I'm cueing breath, but I always say, you breathe at your pace. My cueing is just to remind you to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Woo! Good. Set the leg back so it's on top. Now you're going to push up, come onto your forearm, cross your left foot in front of you, and I'm going to come up onto that bottom hand. Stretch your bottom leg straight. We're just going to do a little release here now. Okay? Top foot, the further forward you put it towards the top of your mat, it's going to intensify your stretch. Okay? If it's too intense, scooch the foot away from you, back towards your back foot. And then here you can let your right shoulder, you can let it sink in towards the ear. We don't usually do that, but for this one you can. Hook your left elbow around the knee and keep drawing that knee like you're trying to bring it towards your chest. Whoo, mama. You feeling that? Keep hugging that knee, the left knee, towards your right side of your chest, and almost imagine like you could roll that outer left hip back. It's not going to go anywhere. It's subtle, right? It's the stuff you can't see. Keep pushing the outer edge of your right foot on the floor. Take 1 more breath. So good. And then inhale. You can come all the way up. We're already in an alignment to do a seated twist, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. Your left leg is crossed over your right. Now, if you've got a knee injury you're healing and working with, you're gonna put that bottom leg straight, okay? Look at all those sticky notes all over the place. Okay. Try to get your left sit bone all the way down to the ground. If it doesn't go there, then sit up on some height, use your blanket. So if yours is a little lifted, you can't quite get it down, and I want you to get a prop, okay? Left hand's gonna go behind you, or right arm's gonna reach up towards the sky. Take a big breath. Exhale, revolve. Right elbow is gonna hook around that left knee. We're gonna go deeper in a minute, so just let yourself enjoy a little more outer hip work. My hip's still on fire. Who sings that song? This girl is on fire. That's what it feels like in my it feels like in my hip right now. Good. So as you inhale, sitting bones are grounding down, earth to sky, crown reaching up, sitting bones reaching down, and then belly button, navel revolving left. Right arm, if you are feeling it, can come to the outside. I am all about yoga being fun to help us get into alignment. There is nothing more therapeutic for every single one of us than a little bit of laughter. Bringing and tapping into a little bit deeper joy. My shoulders aren't quite ready for a bind, but if yours are, if you've warmed them up today and you want to go deeper into a bind, you are welcome to. Really slow everything down as you inhale. Again, sitting bones go earthbound, crown goes towards the sky, and exhale. You wait for the exhale to let the belly revolve, revolve, revolve. You're trying not to over-effort it. Good. And then back around to center. Now, I'm just going to lay down the other way. If you want to stay at the top of your mat and you face away from me, that's fine. I'm just going to go towards the back. All right, so we're going to come down. Our knees are going to bend. We're going to cradle the head here. My right hand is just going to stay in front to support, and then right hand on that right frontal hip point. See if you can lift the leg up with minimal movement. You feel that? Just even doing that is like, ah. All right. Now the leg is going out on the diagonal. It's staying parallel to the floor. And as you exhale, your knee is coming towards you. Your ankle's trying to stay high as your knee. Good. The inhale extends out. The exhale, it hugs in. Inhale extends out. Exhale hugs in. Now your bottom outer hip may already be feeling quite tired. Exhale. Totally normal. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breath by breath. We haven't stopped. We're still going. Try to let your body slow down a little. I know. I'm with you. You are not alone, right? It's another thing that we often feel when we're struggling in life is we're alone. Nobody's ever felt this. And the simple thought of other people feel this too, actually very comforting. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Are you still with me? Come on, 1 more. We can do it. Inhale. Exhale. Oh, okay. Set that leg down. Use your right hand in front of you. Walk yourself up. Right leg, you're going to cross it over. Bottom leg, which is your left one. I'm just going to take a moment here. Yikes. All right. Your left wrist is slightly in front of the shoulder. It's a different thing doing these live practices because typically when I do teach, I'm very minimally doing the practice. So it's a great gift to be able to do it with all of you. And I hope you get great satisfaction just as you go through these movements and you start to feel it in your body and you give yourself permission to make noises and let it feel good and have it when it feels uncomfortable and still staying with it. Hug this right knee with your right arm. It's as though you're trying to twist your body a little bit towards that leg. There's a lot you can do with this pose and wherever you want to put your awareness. So I could work the side body and kind of let the shoulder come and enjoy that. Other moments I'm wanting to hook the knee and bring it towards the chest, turn the chest, imagining this top outer hip wrapping back. And so I want you to kind of play, give yourself permission to have some playfulness, some leela, to explore what feels good in your body. Keep stamping down with that right foot. That's your front one, your front foot. Keep pushing into that foot. wrapping that top outer hip. It's almost like you're surrendering the flesh back. All right, hug that bottom leg in. We're already ready for Ardha Matsyendrasana. Right sit bone's gonna come all the way to the ground. Remember, bottom leg can go straight here. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm up. Ooh, it's hard for me to almost keep my knee up, like those outer hips they're worked. Okay, I'm gonna start with the hook of the elbow. Lift up nice and tall. Healing practices they're not necessarily easier. I always say these to me are sometimes more challenging than the power classes because they really ask us to slow down in a totally different way, to kind of be with ourselves, to be with our thoughts because we're not necessarily moving as fast, to be with sensations longer because we're holding a little bit more. If you want to go deeper, I'm enjoying this hook here. So those of you that want to, though, you can bring the elbow to the outside. But I want you to stay with the breath and try not to over effort. Try less, trust more, right? It's my new mantra. Try less, trust more. So when you try less, you lean and almost rest back into the breath, carrying the body into the pose, into the way that the body is needing it in the moment. All right, let's come back around. Inhale. Okay, uncross the legs onto all fours. That was a heck of a warm-up, wasn't it? Practically done. All right, spread the fingers. For reals though, spread the fingers. Let's come on to tabletop position. All right, tucking the toes to start. I want you to actually feel like you're kind of flicking the toes back to stretch the soles of the feet. Inhale, arch the back. And then exhale, round the back. Keep your toes tucked and sit hips to heels so we can stretch the soles of the feet a little. Inhale, curl up, arch into the back. Belly draws down. Exhale, round the spine. Easy does it, yogis. Inhale, one more time. Exhale. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, right foot steps forward in between the hands. Low lunge. Now, if you had a block, I'm going to use my block. You don't need it, but if you have it, grab it. Untuck your back toes. Lift the sternum. And I want you to notice even right here, maybe back off your lunge a little and just notice those frontal hip points here. So if the pelvis is tipping forward, we can get a lot of compression in the back here through that. So try to lift those frontal hip points up. Scissor your inner thighs together so the inner thighs light up a little bit more. And then keeping all of that integrity, if the pelvis, and you can deepen into the lunge a little, that's lovely. But just make sure you're maintaining the high in, the toning of the left glute, right where the leg, right where the hamstring meets the glute, you're toning right there. Lift up out of the waistline, upper torso lifting up. And then if you like, arms can reach up. Take one more breath. And exhale. Bring the hands back down to the block. And I want you just to take an extra breath or so. When the arms go up in the overhead plane, we definitely have to work a little harder to hold the body up. As the hands go down, though, it's also really easy just to drop and lose everything. So can you find that balance of the effort and the ease, okay? Lovely. Okay, back off. You're going to tuck your back toes. We're going to lift the back leg up and bump that back foot up. We're going to come to a pyramid, and if you have a block, I encourage it because I want this to be really less about a forward bend here and just giving this front hamstring a chance to release. And I'm going to keep my spine actually more like a Tadasana spine, a little bit straighter, my upper body more parallel. So if you didn't have a block, put a micro bend in your front knee and you can put both hands on your shin. Keep the spine more straight here. Take another deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. Once more, inhale and exhale. Good. Hands back to that block if you've got it. Turn all 10 toes so that you circle around towards the back of your mat. You're going to need to scoot your back foot back here a little bit. Take your block with you. And then we're going to do lunge second side at the back of your mat. Okay, first couple of breaths. Work out your kinks. Lifting your chest. And then back off that lunge a little bit. Let's just really move from the ground up. So pushing into the heel of that front foot, ball of the foot, hug your back knee and your front foot toward each other. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Lift the waistline up out of the torso. Let the tailbone drop down, and then maybe take the arms, extend the arms up if it's feeling good. Push the top of your back foot into the floor. Reach up through the upper body. Toning right where the hamstring and the glute meet. And then hands are going to go back to the ground. You're just getting a couple extra breaths here. Keep the muscle energy, meaning we aren't just collapsing. We're still having an awakening through the inner thighs. I'm definitely getting some energetic, like prana tingles on that right front of the psoas there. So it runs from the back, connects around to the inside of the femur bone. Big muscle. All right, back off. Tuck your back toes, lift the knee, and scoot your back foot up. I'm going to heighten my block to the highest setting, pyramid pose. And we're just going to stay more straight in the spine here for this one. Good. Lift up through the four corners of the knee without letting the knee, and I'm not a hyperextender, but if you are and you can, always keep that little micro bend, but still keeping the quad engaged. Wrap that outer left hip back. Send your sternum, again, sides of the waist moving forward. And then you're going to turn, you can take the block with you if you'd like, all 10 toes so they face the long edge of your mat. I'm going to widen my stance just a little bit. Inhale, keep the length, and then exhale, fold. Now, I'm going to lower the block and let the top of my head kind of rest on the block. If you're more tight here, you might keep the block on the highest height, and you can bend the elbows and kind of rest the head here in this way, or just heightening it maybe enough. If you're very flexible, you might be able to bring your forearms down to the ground. That's fine too. Just find a position that feels good. Take one more breath. And then inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, heel toe the feet back together so you're still facing the side of your mat. So get them till they're about 2 fist widths apart, and inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold and bow. Little bend in the knees, reverse your swan dive, rise, come all the way up. And hands to heart, exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up. Just stay facing this side. Interlace your hands behind the back of your head. And then exhale, side bend to the right. Keep your left hand where it is. Let your right hand drop down the outer right leg. You can also put it on the hip. If you need a little more support, let it rest on the hip. So even here, it's a nice stretch here for the psoas, getting into that area a little bit. Through that side bend, bring it back up. Both hands come behind the head. Take an inhale. Draw the elbows back. Shoulders release out of the ears. Draw your belly button to the spine, and then exhale, side bend left. So you notice how the body has to hold on, right, to some capacity, to have the arms overhead. So we're going to let the hand drape down. And you'll feel the body being able to deepen probably a little bit more here. And then I some days really like the hand kind of on the greater trochanter, top of the outer femur bone. And I can get into some nooks and crannies. And take one more breath. Very nice, yogis. Bring both hands back behind the head. Draw your elbows wide. Inhale, arch your back just a little. You don't need to overdo it here. And then you're going to exhale, round. Elbows are going to come in towards shoulder height. Release the back of the neck. Keep lifting the top of the head, the back of the head here, up into the hands. And then inhale, push the back of your head into your hands. Open up. Exhale, coil. And as you coil, your head is dropping down, but just slightly energetically keep lifting the back of the head up. That's where you're really going to appreciate a nice stretch through the neck. 2 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, hands down the back of the legs, forward fold, and actually feel. Let your hands glide down the legs and actually really feel the back of the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, heel toe your feet back out wide. Okay, back out wide so you're in a Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhale here. Exhale, walk your right hand way out wide to the right and bend your right leg, keep your left leg straight. And then inhale, right hand under the right shoulder. Exhale, left hand walks out to the left, bend your left knee, straighten right leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So even getting into the groin will help with the psoas. Inhale. Everything's connected, right? Whatever we do is going to help it. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more each side, breathing in. Exhale. Inhale. Try to keep your back as straight as you can. Exhale. Inhale. Turn right toes back to the front of your mat. Lunge. Exhale. Stepping right foot back, top of a push-up. Breathe in. You can put your knees on the ground. You can go knees, chest, chin, or a half chaturanga with knees down all the way to the belly. Good. Hands are going to come right beside you so your wrists are underneath your elbows. And inhale, cobra pose. Draw the shoulders out of the ears. Toenails stay down. Stay with your Ujjayi breath. Feel how the inhale begins to float the heart up just a little deeper. When you exhale, you'll notice your body probably ebb down just a little. And you're getting a gentle massage as you breathe. The organs against the earth. Take 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good. You're going to sit hips to heels. Sit hips to heels. Hands up onto your thighs. Take your right hand behind you. Reach your left arm up towards the sky. Inhale. And then hands are going to come to your heart. Exhale. And then left hand behind you. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you want to lift up a little bit, this isn't a camel. You're going to keep the core nice and strong. Right hand behind you. And you can lift a little. Inhale. And lower. Exhale. Now, if you get any tweaking in the back, I just want you to keep the sitting bones on the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Lean forward, inhale. Tuck your toes, and let's take 1 downward facing dog. I'm going to go wide on my mat with my feet. If you're nursing a shoulder injury, you're going to come down on your knees and take a puppy pose. So a half dog instead of a full downward facing dog. Take a couple deep breaths, breathing in. Exhale, let the breath go.
Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Let it go. Go ahead, slowly bring your feet back in. Come forward, all the way down to kneeling. Exhale. Good. Grab your blanket for a moment. Grab your blanket. And we're just going to use it for a little bit of height. Some of you are a little more open here. You may not need the blanket, but if it's handy, have it, because you might want it for our meditation here in a few minutes. All right, so inner thighs rolling down towards the floor. Stretch your arms up towards the sky. Breathe in. And exhale, folding forward. Taking a couple deep breaths here, breathing in. Exhale, breathing out. Again, here's such a good example of trying less and just trusting more. It really doesn't matter if your legs are all the way straight. In fact, sometimes it's nice to let the legs bend, let your belly actually connect into the thighs, and feel this sense of almost just being held. Some days I'll even wrap my arms underneath, kind of giving a hug. Allow that back body to feel expansive. In the yoga tradition, that is the universal. The back body is the universal. The front body is considered kind of the ego side of our human form. Take one last breath here. Very good. And now if your hands are under their legs like mine, inhale, slow, bring it all the way back up. Final, just a little bit of heart opener. Bend your right knee, put your right foot on the floor. Your left hand's gonna come behind you. We're gonna spin the outer edge of the left foot to the floor, and we're gonna inhale, push up. Now, I don't quite have the space, but if you wanna kind of reach the arm back behind, you can, or you could just take the hand behind the head. Inhale. Stay with it a breath or two. Opening up the psoas, opening up the heart. Slowly sit back down. Take a moment. Hold on to that right shin. Chest tall. It's like it just opened up my whole abdomen and everything. Okay, switch sides. Left leg bends. Outer edge of your right foot's gonna roll towards the floor. Right hand behind you. Inhale, lift up. So no need to go into a big back bend here. It can almost be a variation of sort of a side plank. Hand can be behind the head, but those of you that want to curl it more into a back bend, you are more than welcome to. Remember, it's healing, right? So make the poses feel healing for your body today in this moment. And then when you're ready, slow, bring it all the way back down. Hold the front of that left shin. Spine tall, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Bring the soles of both of your feet together. Baddha Konasana. Lift up nice and tall. Exhale, forward fold. Again, you can be sitting on height here. You don't have to be. You can take it out if it's more comfortable. Stay with the steadiness of the breath. As much as you trust that the breath will come in and come out, just whether you're conscious of it or not, can we have that sense of trust in our life? That our path is our path. That we are where we are supposed to be. That we are learning the lessons of maybe something bigger that we've asked for. And then inhale slow, come all the way up.
And now I'd like you to find an easy seat. So we're going to start with a meditation, and then I'll give time for Shavasana as well, okay? Now, if sitting comfortably is not your thing, you can take this laying down. That's just fine, okay? So I want you to find a comfortable position. So sit up nice and tall, close your eyes. And this is a lovely meditation just to help with inviting in a greater sense of trust for yourself, for your life. In order for us to enter into this experience of interconnectedness, one of the core recognitions is that we open up to the capacity to trust. And I know this is really hard because for a lot of us, we've had some experiences that have tainted, that have clouded and cloaked and veiled us from seeing and remembering the depths of who we are, the intuition that lies within us. And so we've kind of lost that ability to trust ourselves, to trust the world, to trust humanity. I understand. But I want to say that one of the greatest healing elements that we can do is to invite trust back into our life. So feel yourself move into the energy of your heart. And if it's helpful, you can even take a hand and place a hand over the heart. And imagine that this chest wall opens like a shutter, and the breath enters the heart. As you inhale, you feel how the chest arises and that the heart is gently opening. And as this heart, and create the image of the heart somewhat almost in the chest opening as you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Imagine that in the cave of the heart is a soft flame. And it's the color of a golden flame. Its quality is luminosity and clarity. And this heart flame has a bit of warmth as it arises. In fact, you may even feel all of a sudden just a sense of warmth around the hand that's over your heart. You may even feel a sense of warmth starting to kind of percolate, maybe down the torso or even into the back body a little bit more. And this illuminating golden flame is bringing healing. Healing to your mind, healing to your body from within. And now allow yourself to think of the word trust, almost as though you are dropping that word trust into the flame of the heart as an offering. You begin offering the word trust as though it's almost a mantra. Less trying, more trusting. Let your thoughts drift into the mantra. Less trying, more trusting. As you offer this sacred thought into the fire of the heart, realize that the fire is transforming it into an energy that can begin to flow through you. Allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper, less trying, more trusting, into the cave of the heart. And allowing it to spread its energy through your torso, through your shoulders, through your body. Let yourself feel like it's enveloped in almost a cradle of being held. Taking a couple of deep breaths right into the center of the heart. Breathing in nice and deep. Breathing out. And then begin to bring your awareness back to your heart space, back to that golden flame. Remembering that even as we begin to step back to this meditation, that is always in you. We just need to slow down sometimes enough that we can tap into it. So you stay here longer. Maybe let your hand come down off the heart unless that feels good. And if you'd like to lay back into Shavasana for a few moments, take your blanket out from underneath you. When it's time to come out, you will hear me ring a soft bell. You may notice sounds as I am at home, of course, so you may hear noises, and then let those just be little sounds of mindfulness to turn your attention and awareness back to your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Take a nice, deep, long, slow breath in through the nose. Part your lips and sigh it out. Start to move your fingers and your toes just a little bit. Stretch your arms up and over your head. Take a big full body stretch. Bend your knees, place your feet to the floor. Let's roll to our right side. Cradle your head against your right arm. And then begin to bring your body back upright to an easy seat. Palms fold in together at your heart space. And we remember that a deep lesson of our life is to trust more. Less trying, more trusting. And so much of our suffering in our life today comes through the fact that there's our expectation of what we want, and then there's the reality of what is. And when that reality of what is not aligned with our expectation, this is where suffering comes in. But if we could trust, if we could seriously, down to our deepest part within ourselves, if we could trust that the path that we are on is exactly where we are supposed to be, there is such peace in that. There is such strength and an empowerment of knowing that there are lessons that we are meant to learn on our path through all of this. If when COVID is over and nothing has changed, it's a time of deep reflection right now. We have the opportunity to learn new skills, to better ourselves in all kinds of different ways. So acknowledging that so much of this whole process right now is about trusting more and trying less. Bringing thumbs up to third eye. Thank you, yogis. Thank you for stepping on the mat with me today, for carving time out. It was my honor and blessing to be with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for a beautiful practice, for dealing with noises in the background. The funny part is always it's quiet when it's nothing, when I'm not in here. Isn't that how it works in life? But we get to practice. Less trying, more trust. But thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to do these practices with you. I am here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Saturdays are 9:30, and Wednesday is 4 to 5, clearly, Central Standard Time. And you don't have to pay anything. These are just a pay as you wish. If you want to donate, you are welcome to. I'm on Venmo and PayPal, but it is not necessary. So I want these to be available to everyone and anyone. If somebody would enjoy this, please tag them. It's how we can spread more love and more light in this world, is to connect and to share. So please keep sharing. It means so much. Like, that to me is the best gift, is giving this to somebody else. So thank you, yogis. If you have requests for the future, you just let me know. You can reach out to me, and I am happy to answer questions as well. So thank you. Have an awesome Wednesday. We'll see you next time.